Picture this. You're throwing $500 every month into stocks, feeling like a smart investor while paying $200 in credit card interest at 22%. You're literally losing money trying to get rich, and you can't figure out why wealth feels impossible. Here's the brutal truth nobody tells you. You're building wealth in completely the wrong order. Most people chase the exciting stuff, crypto, hot stocks, real estate, while ignoring the foundation that actually creates millionaires. They do step 7 first and wonder why they're still broke at 50. Today, I'm revealing the exact step-by-step sequence wealthy people actually follow to build fortunes. Not the glamorous advice influencers sell, but the boring system that's created more millionaires than any other strategy. Follow this order, and you'll save tens of thousands in taxes and decades of wasted effort. If you're ready to stop guessing and start building real wealth, hit subscribe and drop foundation in the comments. Because step 1 isn't investing at all, and that's exactly why most people fail from day 1. Step 1. Build an emergency fund before investing anything. Here's the mistake that destroys most people's financial plans before they even start. They rush straight to investing. Stocks, crypto, real estate, whatever looks exciting. And then life happens. The car breaks down, medical emergency, job loss, and suddenly they're forced to sell those investments at the worst possible time, often at a massive loss, just to cover basic survival. You cannot build wealth on quicksand, and that's exactly what you're doing when you invest without an emergency fund. Vanguard did research that should change how you think about this. They found that having just $2,000 in emergency savings increases your financial security by 21%. 21%. That was the single biggest factor they measured, bigger than income, bigger than investment returns, bigger than anything else. Why? Because that buffer gives you options. When crisis hits, and it will hit, you don't panic. You don't go into debt. You don't liquidate investments at a loss. You just handle it and move on. There's ancient wisdom that says, a prudent man sees danger and takes refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. An emergency fund is your refuge. Without it, you're gambling that nothing will go wrong, and that's a bet you'll eventually lose. Here's your target. $1,000 first, as fast as humanly possible. Sell stuff, work extra hours, cut every expense you can. Get that first $1,000 in the bank like your life depends on it. Because financially, it does. Then build to 1 month of expenses, then 3 months, then 6 months. This isn't money you invest. This isn't money you touch. It sits in a high-yield savings account earning 4% and exists for one purpose. So you never have to make desperate financial decisions again. Let me tell you about a couple I know. They were investing $800 a month into stocks, feeling smart and responsible. Zero emergency fund. Then their furnace died in the middle of winter. $3,000 repair needed immediately. They had no choice, pulled money from their investments during a market downturn, locked in a 30% loss. That $3,000 emergency cost them over $10,000 long-term because they had no buffer. They told me later, we were so focused on getting rich, we forgot to protect what we had. One emergency wiped out 2 years of investment gains. Here's what you do today. Open a high-yield savings account. Ally, Marcus, Capital One 360, it doesn't matter. Set up automatic transfer of $100, $200, $500, whatever you can, every single paycheck. Don't invest $1 until you hit that first $1,000. This isn't sexy. This isn't exciting. But it's the foundation everything else is built on. Wealth without foundation is a house built on sand. One storm destroys everything. But that's just the obvious part. What I'm about to say is what makes the difference between building wealth and watching it drain away through a hole you refuse to acknowledge. Step 2. Destroy high-interest debt before investing. Here's the insanity I see every single day. People investing in stocks hoping for a 10% return while simultaneously paying 22% interest on credit card debt. Let me be brutally clear. You're mathematically guaranteed to lose money doing this. You're bleeding out faster than you can possibly build wealth. Think about it. Paying off a 22% interest debt is the exact same as earning a 22% guaranteed, risk-free return on an investment. Show me an investment that guarantees 22% with zero risk. You can't. It doesn't exist. Even Warren Buffett's lifetime average is around 20%, and he's the greatest investor in history. Every dollar you put towards stocks while carrying high-interest debt is a dollar working against you. You're trying to fill a bucket with a giant hole in the bottom, and you wonder why you're not getting ahead. Benjamin Franklin said, "A small leak will sink a great ship." The interest is that leak, and most people are ignoring it while polishing the deck. Here's your strategy. Debt avalanche method. List every debt by interest rate, highest to lowest. Pay minimum payments on everything. Then take every extra dollar, every single one, and throw it at that highest interest debt. When it's gone, roll that entire payment to the next highest. The math is undeniable. This saves you maximum money and gets you debt-free the fastest. Let me show you the real numbers. Say you have $20,000 in credit card debt at 22% interest, making minimum payments of $400 per month. You'll pay that off in never. Actually, never. Minimum payments barely cover interest. You'll be paying that debt for 30+ years and spending over $50,000 in interest alone. But add just $500 extra per month, paid off in 3 years. Total interest paid $7,200. You just saved $43,000 by being aggressive instead of passive. I know a guy who was investing $200 per month into index funds while paying $800 per month across various debts. He thought he was being smart, building wealth while managing debt responsibly. I showed him the math. He was paying more in interest than he was earning in returns. Net result, losing money every single month while thinking he was investing. He switched strategies, stopped investing completely, threw that full $1,000 per month at debt, debt-free in 3 years. Then took that entire $1,000 and started investing. Built more wealth in the following 10 years than his original plan would have in 30. He told me, "I was trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. First I fixed the hole. Then I started filling." Here's your action today. Calculate the total interest you'll pay if you continue making minimum payments. Use any online debt calculator. The number will shock you. Then commit. Every bonus, every tax refund, every extra dollar goes to that highest interest debt until it's dead. You cannot build wealth while bleeding money to creditors. First, stop the bleeding. Then, build. And what I'm about to say is what makes the difference between playing defense and offense, because there's one exception to this rule that puts free money in your pocket. Step 3. Capture free money. Employer 401k match. Here's the one exception to the pay off debt first rule, and it's critical. If your employer offers a 401k match, you contribute enough to get the full match before attacking your debt. Not $1 more. Just enough to capture every penny of free money. Then you go back to debt destruction. Why? Because employer match is a 100% instant return. Nothing else comes close. It's literally free money, part of your compensation package that you're rejecting if you don't take it. Let's make this concrete. Say you earn $50,000 per year. Your company matches 50% of your contributions up to 6% of your salary. You contribute $3,000, that's 6% of $50,000. Your employer instantly adds $1,500. That's a 50% return before the money even gets invested. Before any market growth, before anything. Show me any investment that guarantees 50% returns instantly with zero risk. You can't. It doesn't exist. That's 5 times better than the average stock market return. The old proverb says, "Don't leave money on the table." This is literal money on the table. Your employer is trying to hand you cash, and most people say no because they can't afford it. Here's the truth. You can't afford not to take it. Even while carrying debt, even while building an emergency fund. This is the exception because the math is so overwhelming. Here's how to do this right. Check your 401k match policy today. Call HR. Check your benefits portal. Most companies match 50% up to 6% of salary or 100% up to 3%. Some match more. Find out your exact formula. Then set your contribution to exactly hit the maximum match threshold. Not more, not less. Exactly enough to capture every dollar of free money. If your match is 50% up to 6%, you contribute 6 cents. Done. Then, take every other available dollar and destroy debt. After debt is gone, you'll come back and increase your 401k contributions. But right now, you're just capturing the match and moving on. I watched 2 coworkers handle this differently. Both make $60,000. Both had $15,000 in credit card debt. Worker A said, "I can't afford to contribute to 401k right now. I need every dollar for debt." Worker B contributed just enough for the match, 6% was $3,600, then threw everything else at debt. 5 years later, they both paid off their debt on nearly identical timelines. But Worker B had an extra $22,000 in his 401k from employer match plus growth. Worker A had zero. Same debt payoff. One had $22,000 more, all because he understood. Free money doesn't care about your debt. Here's your action step. If you're not contributing enough to get a full employer match, change that today. Log into your 401k portal. Increase your contribution percentage to hit the match threshold. It takes 5 minutes. Those 5 minutes could be worth tens of thousands of dollars over your career. Employer match is the only guaranteed investment return that beats mathematics. Take it first, then optimize everything else. Wait, there's something you need to pay attention to if you don't want to lose everything. Because after you've built a foundation and captured free money, most people make their next big mistake, and it costs them 6 figures over a lifetime. Step 4. Max out IRA, individual retirement account. Here's where most people get the order wrong. They think maxing out their 401k is the next step. It's not. The smarter move? Max out your IRA first. And this one decision could be worth over $100,000 by the time you retire. Why IRA before more 401k? 3 reasons: lower fees, better investment options, and more control. Your company 401k is often filled with expensive funds with limited choices. Your IRA? You can invest in anything. Index funds with expense ratios of 0.3% instead of 0.75%. That difference alone compounds to tens of thousands of dollars over 30 years. For 2025, you can contribute $7,000 to an IRA or $8,000 if you're 50 or older. That's your next target after emergency fund, high-interest debt, and employer match. But here's where it gets critical. Traditional IRA or Roth IRA? This decision determines how much of your retirement money you actually keep versus how much goes to taxes. Traditional IRA. Money goes in tax-deductible today, grows tax-deferred, and gets taxed when you withdraw in retirement. Best if you're in a high tax bracket now and expect to be in a lower bracket in retirement. Roth IRA. Money goes in after tax today, grows completely tax-free, and withdrawals in retirement are 100% tax-free. Best if you're in a low tax bracket now or expect to be in a higher bracket later. The rule of thumb: if you're in the 22% tax bracket or higher, lean traditional. If you're in 12% or below, lean Roth. Not sure what your future tax rate will be? Split it 50-50. That's called tax diversification, hedging your bets against future tax changes. Here's what this looks like in real life. 2 people, both 30 years old, both contribute $7,000 annually to an IRA for 35 years. Person A chooses traditional, gets tax deduction now, pays taxes on $1.1 million at age 65. Person B chooses Roth, pays taxes on contributions now, and pays 0 taxes on $1.1 million at age 65. If person B's tax rate in retirement is higher than today, they could save $200,000 plus in taxes. If person A's rate drops significantly, they save big on the front end. The choice matters. Let me tell you about 2 coworkers I know. Same age, same income. Worker A maxed his 401k to $23,000 per year because that's what you're supposed to do. High fees, limited fund options. Worker B did $7,000 IRA first, then put the remaining in 401k. After 30 years, same total contributions, Worker B had $180,000 more. Not from better returns, from lower fees and better fund selection in the IRA. When worker A found out, he said, "I thought all retirement accounts were the same. Nobody told me fees mattered this much. That assumption cost me almost $200,000. Here's your action today. Open an IRA at Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. Takes 15 minutes online. Set up an automatic monthly contribution of $583, $7,000 divided by 20. Choose a target date retirement fund if you want simple, or a 3-fund portfolio, total U.S. stock, international bonds, if you want control. Then forget about it. Let it grow for decades while you move to the next step. Control and flexibility compound like interest. The IRA gives you both. But that's just the surface. What's behind it is what will startle people. Because there's a retirement account so powerful, so tax-advantaged, that 90% of people who qualify for it don't even know it exists. Step 5. The secret weapon, health savings account, HSA. Here's the account that separates people who understand the tax code from those who don't. The health savings account. And if you're eligible for one but not using it, you're leaving potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. HSA is the only account with triple tax advantages. Let that sink in. Triple. Money goes into a tax-deductible, grows completely tax-free, comes out tax-free for qualified medical expenses. No other account, not IRA, not 401k, not Roth, has all three. It's like someone combined the best features of traditional and Roth IRAs and created a stealth wealth-building machine that nobody talks about. For 2025, you can contribute $4,300 if you're single, $8,550 for a family. But here's the catch. You must have a high-deductible health insurance plan to qualify. If you're young and healthy, this is often the best insurance choice anyway. Lower premiums, access to HSA. Now here's where the wealthy get even wealthier using HSAs. They don't use it for current medical expenses. They pay medical bills out of pocket, keep every receipt, and let the HSA invest and compound for decades. Then years later, even 30 years later, they reimburse themselves tax-free. There's no time limit on reimbursement. Do you see what this means? It's a retirement account disguised as a health savings account. Let me show you the math that changes lives. Contribute $4,300 annually for 30 years. Invested in index funds averaging 8% return. That's $489,000. Completely tax-free if used for medical expenses. And in retirement, everything is a medical expense. Medicare premiums, prescriptions, long-term care, dental, and vision. You'll easily spend hundreds of thousands on healthcare in retirement. Compare that to a taxable account with the same contributions and returns. After taxes on growth, you'd have maybe $350,000. The HSA just saved you $139,000 in taxes for doing nothing except choosing the right account. I know a nurse who had access to an HSA for 10 years, but just used it like a spending account for current medical bills. Contributed just enough to cover that year's expenses, never invested a dollar. Her colleague, another nurse, maxed the HSA every year, invested it all in an S&P 500 index fund, paid all medical bills from her checking account, and kept every receipt in a folder. After 15 years, the first nurse had $0 extra saved. The second had $95,000 growing tax-free. The first nurse told me, "I thought HSA was just for paying doctor bills. Nobody told me it was a retirement account." That's the most expensive misunderstanding of my life. Here's your action plan. Check if your health insurance qualifies for HSA. It must be a high-deductible plan. If yes, open HSA immediately. Many employers offer them, or use Fidelity/Lively. Contribute the maximum. Invest it in low-cost index funds, not cash. Pay your medical bills out of pocket, and keep meticulous records. Let it grow untouched for decades. This is the secret weapon hiding in plain sight. The best wealth-building tools are often the ones nobody talks about. It sounds simple, but the hardest part is what's about to be told next. Because after you've optimized every tax-advantaged account, there's one more place most people put money before they should. Step 6. Now max out 401k contributions. Here's where most people start. And that's exactly the problem. They jump straight to maxing their 401k without building the foundation first. But now, after completing steps 1 through 5, now it's the right move. You've got your emergency fund protecting you from catastrophe. You've eliminated high-interest debt that was bleeding you dry. You've captured every dollar of employer match. You've maxed your IRA with its lower fees and better options. You've weaponized your HSA for triple tax advantages. Now, and only now, do you circle back and max out that 401k. For 2025, the contribution limit is $23,500. If you're 50 or older, you get catch-up contributions, bringing it to $31,000. This is serious money, and at this point in the sequence, you're in rarefied air. You're saving more than 95% of Americans. Your wealth is about to accelerate dramatically. Why save the 401k max for this step? The IRA and HSA offer better tax advantages and flexibility for most people. But once those are maxed, the 401k becomes your next best tool. It's still tax-deferred growth, still forces discipline through payroll deduction, still compounds for decades. And here's the beautiful part. By this step, your debt is gone. Your foundation is solid. Every dollar you're putting away is actually building wealth instead of covering past mistakes. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to live." But he also understood systematic progress. This is where patience and discipline start paying exponential dividends. Let me break down what this looks like financially. To max out $23,500 annually, you need to contribute about $904 per paycheck if you're paid bi-weekly, 26 paychecks per year. Sounds like a lot, right? But remember, you're only at this step after eliminating debt payments that were probably costing you hundreds per month anyway. I know an engineer making $100,000 who thought he was being smart by maxing his 401k from day one. From age 25 to 35, he contributed over $200,000 to his 401k. By 35, he had about $280,000 saved. Impressive. But his friend followed this exact sequence. Built an emergency fund first, paid off $25,000 in student loans and car debt, captured the match, maxed IRA and HSA, only then maxed 401k. Also reached the age of 35 with his debt gone and had $310,000 across all his accounts. Plus, he'd saved enough in his taxable account for a down payment on a house. Same income, same discipline. One followed the optimal sequence, one didn't. The difference? $30,000 more wealth, plus a house. All because of the order of operations. The first engineer told me, "I did what everyone says to do, max your 401k. But I was so focused on retirement, I ignored the foundation." He was more strategic. I was just following conventional wisdom. Here's your action. Calculate how much per paycheck you need to hit the $23,500 max. Adjust your contribution percentage to reach it. If you can't max it immediately, commit to increasing your contribution by 1 to 2% with every raise until you do. At this step, you're building wealth faster than almost anyone around you. Compound interest is working at full force, tax-advantaged, systematic, unstoppable. Don't jump to conclusions, because what comes next can change your perspective completely. Because there's one final account type, the one most people start with, that should actually come last. Step 7. Taxable investment account, the final frontier. Here's the irony that costs people fortunes. Most beginners start here. Robinhood account, buying individual stocks, crypto, chasing hot investments in a taxable brokerage account. They think this is investing, and they completely skip steps 1 through 6. But this, the taxable investment account, should be your last step, not your first. And understanding why could save you $250,000 over your lifetime. The reason is brutal but simple. Taxes destroy wealth. In a taxable account, you pay taxes on dividends every year. You pay capital gains taxes when you sell. Every transaction, every dividend, every bit of growth gets taxed. It's the least efficient way to build wealth. Let me show you the math that should change your entire strategy. 2 investors, same contributions, $10,000 per year for 30 years. Same returns, 7% annually. One uses tax-advantaged accounts, 401k, IRA, HSA. One uses taxable brokerage. Tax-advantaged investor ends with $944,000. Taxable investor, after accounting for annual dividend taxes and capital gains, ends with about $700,000. That's $244,000 vanished to taxes. Nearly $250,000 lost, not from bad investments, but from bad account selection. Benjamin Franklin said, "Nothing is certain but death and taxes." True, but you can legally delay taxes for decades using the right accounts. That delay alone is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So when should you use taxable accounts? Only after maxing steps 1-6, only after you've exhausted every tax-advantaged option. Taxable accounts are for 4 situations: saving for a house down payment, building wealth for early retirement before 59.5, creating assets to transfer to heirs, or you're already maxing everything. Congratulations, you're in the top 1%. But here's the critical part. If you do use taxable accounts, you must be strategic. Invest in tax-efficient index funds, not actively managed funds that generate constant taxable events. Buy and hold to avoid short-term capital gains taxes, which are brutal. Use tax loss harvesting to offset gains. Let me tell you about 2 tech workers, both making $150,000 annually. Worker A started investing immediately in a taxable Robinhood account because he wanted access to his money. Put $20,000 per year into stocks held long-term for decent returns. Worker B followed this sequence, maxed his 401k, $23,500, IRA, $7,000, and HSA, $4,000 first. That's $34,500 in tax-advantaged accounts. Then put his remaining $15,500 into a taxable. After 20 years, same total contributions, similar investment returns, Worker A paid approximately $180,000 in taxes. Worker B paid $65,000. Worker A's flexibility cost him $115,000. That's nearly a year of his gross salary lost to taxes simply because he chose the wrong account order. Worker A told me, "I wanted flexibility and control. I got it. And it cost me 6 figures. Nobody told me account type mattered this much." Here's your action if you're at this step. Open a taxable brokerage at Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. Invest in broad index funds like VTI, Total Stock Market, or a simple 3-fund portfolio. Hold long-term. Never sell unless absolutely necessary. Let it compound, and accept that taxes are the price of flexibility. But know this, flexibility is valuable, but not when it costs you $100,000 unnecessarily. Optimize taxes first, then pursue flexibility with what remains. The wealthy don't avoid taxable accounts. They just do them last, after maximizing every advantage the system legally offers. Wait, the most important part is in the following story, and this changes everything about how you see this sequence. Now you know the exact sequence wealthy people actually follow. Not the exciting stuff that sells courses, but the boring system that actually works. Emergency fund, destroy high-interest debt, capture employer match, max IRA, max HSA, max 401k, then and only then, taxable accounts. This order isn't negotiable, it's mathematics. Here's your homework. Write down all 7 steps. Figure out honestly where you are right now, then commit to completing your current step before even thinking about the next one. No skipping. No, but my situation is different. Follow the sequence. It's worked for millions of people building wealth from nothing. It'll work for you too. Comment foundation right now if you're committing to following this in the right order. And tell me, what step are you actually on today? Step 1? Step 3? Already at step 7? Drop your number below. Seeing where everyone is helps you realize you're not behind. You're just on a clear path now. If this changed how you think about building wealth, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell. I break down exactly how money actually works, the systems wealthy people use but never talk about publicly. Remember, building wealth isn't about being brilliant. It's about being systematic. The steps are simple. The order is proven. The only question is whether you'll have the discipline to follow it while everyone around you does it backwards. Your future self, 20 years from now, is watching. Build the foundation. Follow the sequence. Let mathematics do what it does best. Financial freedom isn't luck, it's a sequence.